Hello, hello, hello! So it is time. The Divine Fest timeline has been revealed today. So the new Divine Festival is coming on April the 4th, and it will be bringing with it some of the new Divines that we've seen getting revealed to us on Instagram and other places. Mainly the new dragons are the Brigid dragon, which we saw in like that long video with that plant looking egg, and we've also got Yum Kaax coming in this Divine Fest. I will preface this because we will be going through all of these notes that go along with this. There are some bad changes. I mean really bad changes. Mainly the fact that for some dragons you're actually going to have to finish 2 castle events and solo events to get the pieces for the divines. But at the same time, there are a lot of divines available. Whether people will get them or not is a different story. They've also majorly changed the balancing of castle events, which I don't think is going to be good overall. But that is the quick rundown on what is coming in this Divine Fest. Again, it'll be quite a lot of reading here, but we do also have the elements for the new dragons revealed. So in the altar, we can get, though, the new dragons, Brigid and Yum Kaax, and we'll also be able to get Zeus and Heimdall. But they are divine altar dragons, which, you know, we've had many times before. So that's the main thing to note about this. But anyway, if we go from top down to the bottom, you'll notice me getting more annoyed as I get closer to the parts that I don't like. But spring is a time of renewal and joy! And of a Divine Fest. Dragonlandia's next Divine Party celebrates the arrival of spring, and Brigid and Yum Kaax dragons decide to visit Dragonlandia to engage in a festival of art and poetry. However, as it is wont with the celebration of spring, okay, that is what that says. The festival will not only be about art and poetry, but also about love and romance. Join the Springtime Passions event. So starting the 4th of April at 12 PM GMT and running through to the 2nd of May, so it is going to be about a month long. The Divine Fest will continue with the divine tradition of 2 chapters starring 2 different divines. This time our guest of honour are Brigid from the Celtic tradition and Yum Kaax from the Mayans, who will be available from the altar. Divine Altar Holy Talismans, divine tickets. As always, trainers can spend Holy Talismans within the altar, so that is not new. Don't forget that while Holy Talismans will remain throughout the event, they will change at the start of Chapter 2, so you've got to spend them within the first 2 weeks, and then spend the second lot within the second 2 weeks. That's basically what we had before. So, those are the new dragons there, and their elements. So, Brigid is a divine earth and wind dragon, and Yum Kaax is unfortunately quite bad, because he's a divine earth and plant dragon, and just like Pangu, the problem is he's going to have not very good stats. So, it's kind of not good for Yum Kaax. He's just another Pangu. So realistically, if you want an Earth Divine, Brigid's probably the option. Also, Brigid is a plant, but they have not given it the plant element, so how about that? But anyway, as well as these dragons, if you purchase the Talisman Generator, then not only will you be able to collect additional Holy Talismans from the Generator, but you'll also unlock the Thais Emerald Dragon within the Divine Altar. But I imagine this means that you're gonna, just like before, purchase this and then still have to earn the talismans for Thais Enron. So he's not really very useful. In fact, he's detrimental. So he's kind of... Anyway, as before, opening Divine Chest will give you not only Holy Talismans, but other valuable rewards. And it's going to include parts for the Envoy Cyber, River, during Chapter 2, parts for the Shadow Puff Data, Toy Fairy Dragon. So they are bringing back some old dragons from the past as well. And then Collection Event. Unlock the Chrono Nezha Dragon by hatching and placing the following dragons. So, out of all of the returning divines, I guess my game is reloading because we spent too long on Discord, but we will be getting Chrono Nezha as the ultimate reward for this event, which is kind of whatever. But to get Chrono Nezha, you'll have to hatch Brigid, Yum Kaax, Imperial Dragon, and the Stone Totem Dragon. Interesting. Well, Imperial Egg Dragon. I guess that's different from the actual Imperial Dragon. But anyway, now we get on to the not so good stuff, unfortunately. You know, castle events, they were more or less the same for a long time. It's worrying what they've done. We'll have to wait and see how it's actually balanced, but we will go through this in detail. So, castle events. These events will reveal the plot of the Divine Fest, so make sure you don't miss out. In Chapter 1, Spring's Renewal, you'll learn about dragon poetry and dragons as matchmakers. In Chapter 2, Spring Stand, some of these matchmaking efforts will come to fruition. It better be for Aya and Eliza. So, Castle Event, Chapter 1, April 11th to the 18th, will offer the Imperial Egg Dragon with parts of the Aphrodite Dragon available in the event's chests. Castle Event, Chapter 2, will offer the Stone Totem Dragon and its main reward with parts of the Thor Dragon available in the event's chests. The castle events of this Divine Chest, or this Divine Fest, have been changed. You'll find that the node costs are more consistent, instead of gradually increasing, with each route being balanced to mostly cost the same. The cost of each route now also factors in the chests too, which will not always cost the same as the other chests on the level. Skipping fights will also have their costs adjusted too, so pay attention. It's recommended that you attempt the fights instead of taking the alternate routes, which will be much more costly. So what does this actually mean, this sentence here, for anyone that's not really understanding or is new? Basically, if you don't have every available element in the game, you're probably screwed. Now, that is a little bit of me jumping the gun, but the fact that they've made such a point of this makes me think that, you know, in Castle... This is why I always talk about people having as many unique elements as they can while still trying to make a good team. Because now if you come across a fight that you can't do, this sounds like this is going to be much more costly. Not just more costly, much more costly. This could genuinely make it so that it's impossible for you to finish the event, depending on how it's balanced. So this is very, very concerning already. But that is not the main concerning thing. Lastly, the chances of the keys have also been changed. Now, instead of gradually increasing with each chest, every chest within a level will have the same chance for the key to appear. This means that while you have less chance to find the key in later chests, you'll have a higher chance in earlier chests. The event has been balanced with this change in mind, and completing all resets will be enough to complete the event. The percentage chance for the chests in each level, excluding the final chest, which is always 100%, is now. This is the part that could completely ruin castle events. Level 1, 0%, you have to open both. Level 2, there's a 10% chance in every chest. Level 3, there's a 10% chance in every chest. Level 4, there's a 15% chance in every chest. Level 5, there's a 15% chance. And level 6, there's a 20% chance. Now, to explain why this is a problem, and a really big problem at that, if you've ever heard me talk about castle events before, one of the main important things about castle events is finding the key as quickly as possible, because on the later levels, you can get more event currency. So finding the chests, or finding the keys to progress to the next level as quickly as possible was, like, key to these events. Now, that's actually... They say that there's a higher chance for you to find it earlier, but the problem is, it's only 10%, and then 15%. And so if you actually think about it, 10% in your first chest, 10% in your second, 10% in your third, 10% in your fourth, 10% in your fifth, only by the fifth chest are you actually, on average, expected to even find the key. So rather than it being, in general, like people would find the keys on, say, early in level 2, or like by their fourth chest and then move on. Now it's going to be a lot less likely that you're going to be getting through these levels without opening 5+ chests. Now, obviously on level 6 that's different because that's 20%, which is going to be very different. You know, 20% plus 20% plus 20% chance. you know, that's going to pop you, on average, it's going to be slightly easier to find the key on level 6. But it's not as important finding the key on the later levels as it is finding it on the earlier levels. So, this is like the exact opposite of what needed to happen for these events with the way that they're balanced. And this is just concerning. Incredibly concerning reading this, and clearly I'm not the only person that thinks so from the reactions. This could genuinely make this event unplayable for some people, and if you do miss resets, and you don't have every element available in the game, depends on how they balance it, but it could be just undoable for a lot of players. And I'm saying that out right now, we don't know the balancing yet, maybe they'll be kind to us, but I highly doubt it, considering these changes being brought in and the recent changes that have come in. But anyway, that's the castle events. I'm not happy with it at all. But solo events. The dual solo events will offer parts of the Thor and Aphrodite dragons respectively. So if you collect the dragon parts in the castle events and you complete the solo events, you'll be able to complete these dragons. So yeah, basically, instead of us getting reward dragons for the castle events, now you basically have to do 4 events to get the pieces for some old divines. 4 events for some pieces for some old divines. As if one castle event on its own, not even the second part, was bad enough. We have to do 4 events to get Aphrodite, and 4 events to get Thor. There's also a sacred apple in the leaderboard. I don't care. This is terrible. This is awful. As if the events weren't demanding enough for most people already. I can't even play this event because of the 6-hour timers, but for the people that can, they genuinely expect you to not have a life whatsoever, because you won't be getting these divines if you don't do all 4 events. It's like the requirements have more than doubled for what you have to do to get these very old divines that I would expect them to release in a much easier way. But hey, I guess screw over all the new players and all the more casual players, right? Who cares about them? Anyway, Blitz breeding events. Like the previous Divine Fest, we'll have 2 Blitz breeding events using those dragons that visit Dragonlandia at this special time. And then there's Chapter 1, match the Imperial Egg Dragon and the Sweetie Bunny Dragon to breed the Lily Gem Dragon. Which, of course, if you actually pay attention to these event timeframes, Imperial Egg is in that castle event. And when is the castle event exactly? April 11th to the 18th? Which means the Breeding Blitz event is going to be going on at the exact same time as the castle event, which means you'll have to both finish the castle event, you'll have to hatch the dragon's eggs, and then breed them together with the Sweetie Bunny Dragon to try and get Lily Gem, which is a useless legendary. So 99% of you won't be getting this either, just so you know. So then, the second breeding blitz, match the Stone Totem Dragon and the Golden Green Dragon to breed the Bounty Hunter Dragon. Golden Green will be the Dragon of the Week. So you have to breed the Dragon of the Week, you have to finish the castle event early, you have to breed them together for a chance to get some bad legendaries, basically. Hope you enjoy that, because most of you won't be able to get them. Then Divine Dungeons. Each week of the Springy Divine Fest will feature a special Divine Dungeon where each chest within the weekly bottomless dungeon will contain Divine tickets. Open as many as you can for success. Weekend events. Naturally, each weekend will see the appearance of our regular weekend events where you'll be able to score additional Divine tickets to unlock Divine chests. We hope you'll enjoy this exciting Divine event where we wish every Dragon Trainer the best of luck. So, that is the full schedule for this upcoming event. So, all things considered, this I'm not a fan of at all. And plus, you've also got to take into account the fact that they're just about to take portal gems away, which means actually finishing off the castle event is going to be even harder than it was before anyway. So, if you wanted me to give a summary of how excited I am for this event, I actually don't think I've been less excited for a castle event or a divine event in general in a very long time. Now, it's going to depend on exactly how they balance the event, as in the stepping stone counts. I don't really get why they have, say, castle event maps where every single path costs the same, because then what's the point of even having a map? The point before was that they were all slightly different, but no, now they're just all going to cost the same, except now it's going to also involve the fact that they've probably majorly increased the cost of the alternate route, so if you don't have every element available to use, then, well, screw you, basically. I don't know. It just feels like a complete onslaught. It's been like 3 solid days of dreadful, dreadful information. Actually, it's been a solid week, really. I mean, ever since the treasure hunt event came into the game, it's just been bad news after bad news after bad update news, and I feel like they're trying to kill this game. Is it just me? Well, I already know it's not, because other people have been saying the same, but it just feels like they are trying their best to make this game as unplayable as possible. Again, the fact that they expect players to do 4 events for an Aphrodite dragon. Aphrodite has some use, fine, whatever. But having to do 4 events for a Thor dragon? For a divine energy metal dragon? You requiring people to do 4 sets of events? Basically? Well, I guess it's technically 2 per, but, you know, if you want both of them, it's basically 4 weeks solid of just double events. I don't know. I remember way back when we had castle events that were essentially you would do one part of the castle event, get a free divine, get pieces for another divine, and that was it. If you weren't available for every week of the event, that was fine. You could at least pick up a divine here and there, but it's just not like that anymore. And then we've got dungeon on top of everything else that they're throwing at us, like, it feels like in order to mask the fact that there isn't really any gameplay left in this game, especially with them removing the portal gems, because now there's like the map, like what are people going to do about the map? They can't even do the map anymore. So now rather than them continuing to like improve and give more to do on the base campaign, they're just throwing events out of the wazoo. But I guess rather than me just complaining, because it's just been a solid week of me wanting to complain and getting really just disappointed with this company, I guess what I can say is that you should be getting your teams prepared, because since we do have dungeons coming up, you know, it's the old classic, make sure your team is an even level. So, for instance, I've got 3 dragons at the same level. That's like the minimum, really, that you should have. But if your team is uneven right now, try and get at least 3 dragons at the same level. And especially if we've got a castle event, if you can get more dragons than that at the same level so that you have every element available in the game, do it. But not... most people aren't going to be in that position, if I'm being honest. But, you know, it will seriously help you a lot. If you're even missing 1 element, or like, not 1 element, let's say 3 elements on your team, and they just happen to be the main elements of this castle event, that might be it. That's it. Your castle event chances are just ruined. That's it. Event done. GG. Again, we'll have to wait and see, but try and get your teams even. You know, if you've got some extra food that you're saving up, maybe use it on a dragon now if you want to have the best chance of doing well during this event. But it's mainly for the altar dragons going to come down to all that dungeon grinding as usual. So, you've got to be active. Again, this game is not difficult, but they're just forcing everyone to be active all the time. And if you have a schedule like mine, we can't do that. So these events are just unplayable for people like me. But for some people that, you know, especially mobile gamers, it's a lot easier for you to play than it is for, you know, me, who plays on PC, any Windows gamers. Because basically if we go outside, that's it. We just can't do the event. That's it, we're gone. We're gone skis. Chance is gone. You miss an entire reset, basically. But, hey, I would rather be playing on PC than on mobile because I hate mobile, so I guess that is a me thing. But in general, get your hatchery upgraded if it isn't already, and you've got enough gems to do it. You'll need some hatchery slots, especially if you want to do any of the breeding blitz stuff, which, trust me, a lot of the time you'll just end up wasting your resources, so I don't think it's worth it for most players, unless you're like a really avid collector and you've got the extra relics and stuff. Otherwise, don't worry about things like the breeding blitz events too much. But you're going to need your breeding den free for the entire month, so good luck finishing off the next Dragon Master Pass if you don't have a second breeding den. It's not gonna happen. What else can I prepare you for? I guess, aside from getting your team to an even level, you know, just good luck finding those keys, because, again, we'll take a look at the event when it comes out. We'll see what the balancing is like, won't we, Frosk? But considering the recent updates and news we've been getting, I'm not feeling confident about this whatsoever. I'm really, really disappointed with the update news and the castle event changes and everything else that's come out in the last week. So for now, I'm gonna not worry about the game. But I do wish you the best, and if you are still playing and still enjoying, I hope you continue to enjoy, even if I am not myself. But anyway, for now, I will skedaddle. Enjoy your day.